Hey YouTube land, Tychernder's there doing another action figure review, and today we're going more in with the Eagle Force. As I said, I have a whole bunch of them to review, mostly wave 4 I think, sorry, series 5, but I have a few splatterings from the previous, from series 1 and series 2. I have one figure from each of those series. So I said I was going to kick off the Eagle Force reviews with the main man himself, Captain Eagle, but instead I kind of went ahead and did the Agent Grimm one because, let's just face it, it was a John Wick figure, which looked pretty badass. So this is the Eagle Force Captain Eagle, and this is the box he comes in. So you have an image of the character, you have the Eagle Force logo up the top, you have the eagle behind him, he's in a kind of running striking pose. The little blurb on the front is the global premier strike force to fight worldwide injustice and tyranny. And this is produced by Fresh Monkey Fiction. And at the time, it was also a offshoot of Zika. If I bring in Grimm Force, or Agent Grimm's box, you can see the Zika Toys logo is now no longer on them. So it's just Fresh Monkey Fiction now. And these are for ages 15 and up. So flipping around the back of the box, I got this guy from Big Bad Toy Store. Now initially when this got released, the original way they were released was part of a Kickstarter, as far as I'm aware. Then Big Bad Toy Store got them in. The original first wave sold out, and then they got a replacement of wave 1. So this is where I got this one. It was actually the second run for wave 1 I picked up. So I kind of was on the fence about getting them, and then I got the Zatini figure, and then I was like, oh, I might as well get a couple of others. And then I went for Captain Eagle, and then I went for the full wave 5 set. I probably should have gotten a few of the other waves, but it's what it is, what it is. So on the back of the box, you have a little kind of file card for him. So Captain Eagle, Eagle Force leader. Yeah, he's a captain and I'm a general, but I'm telling you right now, if he says jump, I'm asking him how high, and that's General Brown. So, and there's another bit saying, the long retired Captain Eagle is recruiting back into active duty, which is the same blurb that was on the Agent Grimm, but then just underneath that, after I knock him over, over here, Captain John Eagle comes from a lineage of military veterans, and his exposure to the military life at a young age instilled him in the sense of duty, honor, and a strong desire to serve. A decorated war hero who served in the Southeast Asia, Eagle was handpicked in the 1980s to lead an exceptional team of military operatives against the sinister threat of riot. Now, 30 years later, riot has returned, and Captain Eagle returns to face down this new threat. So the lineup for this is Captain Eagle, Striker Jr., Sharpshooter, the Cat Espionage Expert, Fireball, Pyrotechnic Sabotage. He's one of the riot guys. You can see that just behind him there's a kind of cross out of the logo, so you can tell who is on who. Firebug is a Pyrotechnic Infantry. He's also a Riot Trooper, the Riot Commando, Elite Terrorist Operative, Riot Shock Trooper, Terrorist Operative Infantry, and the Eagle Force Trooper, the Eagle Force Infantry. Basically, the where I would imagine the Riot Shock Trooper and the Riot Commandos are like the Vipers and the Cobra Troopers. The Eagle Force Trooper is the green shirts of this line. So, and then there's freshmonkeyfiction.com. I'm not sure if that's still the site, that because this is wave 1. I think they changed it to eagleforcereturns.com. In fact, oh no, it still says Fresh Monkey Fiction on those series 5, so that should be still the current web address. So we'll go on to the accessories before I go on to figure. Now, my version of the figure doesn't come with a stand. The Agent Grimm figure actually came with an Eagle Force stand. Here's his accessory bag. You can see there's an Eagle Force base with the Eagle Force logo. The Series 1 and Series 2 figures I have didn't actually come with those. I'm not sure if it was intended or it was something they added in later on. In fact, they still have the 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet, so I'm assuming it was something that was intended but not provided with the first couple of waves, and then they added it in. So for other accessories he comes with, he's eagle in with closed wings. You don't have the outstretched wings. You don't have an option to do the wings outstretched, but you do come. He comes with his eagle, who I'm assuming is not called eagly at a glance. I'm assuming it has some sort of more patriotic name or something along those lines. But the feet are done in such a way that it can, if we get it on the right, just at the right spot, you can hold onto his wrist. Now it does seem to hold on to his cybernetic wrist more than the other one. If I just take his gun out of his hand, it's a bit of a tight fit. It should fit on hopefully both wrists. Yeah, it does fit both wrists. It's a little loose. It's not a perfect fit, so if you do shake him around it will fall off, but for the most part it will hold on. It is, the feet are done in a kind of grasping claw thing. It would have been nice if you had like a perch that would be able to go on his back, but or not on his back, but stand beside him if you didn't want him on the resting on the arm all the time. Otherwise it just flops onto the ground. So bear with me a moment. I'm just going to move my camera down a touch just to get a better angle. So he does come with a bag of extra hands. Now this is where I'm not a huge fan of these extra hands, and it's nothing to do with the hands themselves. The hands are fine. Like, the accessories of the extra hands are really good. My one drawback, we get 2 trigger finger hands. You get a left and right. You get a left and right punchy hand. You get a left and right graspy hand. And you get a left and right outstretched hand. The downside of this is that you only get bare human skin tone hands. And if we take a quick look at the figure, I can get all these little accessories back into their little baggie. They do come with the baggie in behind the figure, so it is kind of handy that to avoid losing the accessories, you get something that will store them. So let me just close that up. As you can see on the figure, he has this cybernetic left hand. You don't get any alternate versions of the cybernetic left hand. In fact, any of the figures that uses this sort of hand, if I bring it in, so this guy, right, Agent Grimm also uses the same hand. You don't get any alternate versions of it. It's all the same hand with the horizontal hinge the vertical hinge instead of horizontal hinge. So it is what it is. So the other accessories he comes with this machine gun, which looks to be like a M16 sort of machine gun. It has an underslung grenade launcher. It's done in all black. There's no real kind of paint wash over it. It's just all black. And he also comes with his pistol. Everyone comes with pretty much the same pistol, and the pistol holster tends to be the same. In fact, again, if I bring back in Agent Grimm, you can see they actually utilize the same kind of leg sculpt and pretty much the same torso and everything except for the lower legs. So there is a lot of reuse parts in this line, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually pretty good. It does cut costs on having to do new tooling, and since most of the characters are wearing military fatigues and stuff like that, you don't have to go too far out and changing everything up. You just do different paint decos on them, which is something we'll see as I go along with the rest of this series. So the other accessory he has, which is kind of cool, he has an actual removable beret, and you can see his aged, battle-scarred kind of head sculpt, which is pretty cool. There, as far as I know, I think as part of the Kickstarter, there was a younger version of Captain Eagle, the 80s version of him, in a kind of all gold suit, and I think that is coming out as part of one of the later waves, as a nod to the original line. The original line of figures, now I can't remember if I mentioned it in the previous video for Agent Grimm, but in the previous line of figures, they weren't actually 4-inch. I think they were around 3-inch, and they had die-cast metal bodies, I think, and they had plastic arms. They weren't the same scale they are now. and they weren't half as articulated. They were kind of just swivel hips and swivel arms, and they had detailing on them, but they weren't super detailed or anything like that. But these ones look pretty damn good. So just like Agent Grimm, there's no backhole peg on this guy. There is, I think, a backhole peg on the torso. Maybe there isn't. Let me just grab in Santini. Actually, no, there isn't. The torsos don't have a backhole peg, which is a little bit of a shame. So for figures that you want to put backpacks on, you'd have to either drill out a hole or get something with straps that will fit around the shoulders. Some of the old, was it the World Peacekeeper backpacks, actually had elastic bands on them. Unfortunately, I don't have one to hand, but you could probably fit that over one of these guys' bodies and have them hold it pretty good. So the articulation on this guy is pretty much the same as the Agent Grimm. So the head is on a ball joint. You can look down, not so much back, skew side to side. You can do a 360 with the head, but there's more down than back on this, and you have side tilt. You have the arms that can swing up, swing all the way around, and hinge out. You have a swivel on the elbow. It's only single hinge elbow swivel with bend. That aforementioned swivel with the wrist and hinge on the wrist. Depending on which hand you have in, you either have a vertical or horizontal hinge. You have a ball joint on the waist, which is hidden by this web gear piece. It is a separate piece, but I'm not going to pop it off because it just looks really cool better with it on. But it's pretty much the same way that Santini and Agent Grimm are set up. In fact, most of the figures in this line tend to have a body piece over the main body. There's only a couple of them that tend to not utilize, or well, there is one figure that I have in Wave 5 that comes with one, but on the art depiction for the cover of the box, he's not wearing it, so I took it off him. Oh, we'll get to him eventually. And he does have that pistol holster. His legs can splay out that much. Can kick forward. Oh, he can kick forward. The legs are on a peg system, as you can see. So he can kick forward, can kick back. Just get his leg back into place. He can do a double jointed knee. He has rocker joint, and there's a swivel just above the ankle. So he has rocker joint on the ankle itself, and then there's a swivel if you want to swivel, rotate that the ball joint or the ball socket to have a different kind of hinge on it or a different position. So he is pretty good. He is quite articulated. The hip does kind of do a sort of side to side as well, because it's on that ball joint, but it's not like he has upper thigh swivel or anything like that. He just has a sort of simulated one, and then, as I said, he has the two peg holes on the bottom of his feet. So let's just get him standing up, and we'll give him his beret back. Oop. If it wants to go back on him. So beret goes to the off to the right side. I don't think there's a left-hand sided beret. There could be. All the figures that I've seen who have a beret use the same one. In fact, we'll just bring Santini in again, because he's handy to have to showcase how the stuff works. So he has the same beret, it's just done in a different color. He even has the same legs, just done in different colors. And I would imagine the underneath torso is possibly very similar or slightly different. So there is how he stacks up to one of his fellow Eagle Force members. In fact, if I just bring in the tape measure, you can see he stands just around the 4-inch mark, which is pretty handy. And then we'll bring in a couple of other things. So I can't remember the name of this guy. He's the guy from the, is it The Mandalorian season 1? He's that weird kind of fish alien guy that you see in the very first episode. He does have a name, I just can't remember it off the top of my head. So that is someone from the galaxy far, far away, because I have this guy handy and I was messing around with him recently. Here is Superman from the Spin Masters line, the DC Spin Masters line. We have an Owen Grady from the Jurassic World line. just since I have one handy, I have one of the dinosaurs from the Jurassic World line. This is the Ruglops something or other, I can't remember the exact name, so you can just see how they stack up with some of the dinosaurs from that line. We also have good old unmasked jungle predator, who all sticking at the back there. So he should be taller than everyone. So if I can get him to stand, he should stand in the back. And anyone else, and another one, because I have it handy, I'm going to move the dinosaur out of the way, because they will probably fall over. I find the legs on this guy's a little bit wonky, so he does tend to fall a lot. So probably not the best one to have in this. In fact, I'll get the baby Stego from the Claire set. Here is one of the alien warriors from the, it's not the Higher Toys ones, but it's the ones from the Leonard line. And if I can dig one out without knocking everything over, hopefully I can get one. One of the AVP warriors from Higher Toys as well. Hopefully he will stand. He's probably going to fall over and knock everything over, so I'll just pop him in the back here behind everything. So it just gives you a kind of vague a look at the different scaling between different lines. Not too bad, does scale up pretty nicely. If you have vehicles in the 1/18 scale or the G.I. Joe sort of scale, you should fit those depending on the vehicle, because you can get the knees into double jointed knees, so you might be able to squish them into most things. Some things he probably won't fit, but it's a it is at your own it is basically your own idea which vehicle you want to try and throw him into and see if he fits. So there you go, guys. There's video review for Eagle Force Captain Eagle, and I will continue in next figure, which I will actually go ahead and do the Zantini and get him out of the way, because he was part of series 2, and then we'll finish off the series 5 stuff that I have. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and look forward to seeing some of the other figures that I have in this lineup, and see how they stack together. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.